We've been transparent, we'll be upfront.
Good.
We are going to request those. But this stuff doesn't just happen overnight. If we listen. Just because questions are asked, and we will get the answers to those. If those studies, if Lumen Solutions and whatnot have followed the protocol that the federal government has and that the state has, we're going to make sure that has been followed.
Randy? Which one is Randy?
The only question I had is when I first heard of this thing at the county commission meeting, my first question was, is there any data center comparatively to this in the state of Missouri that we might have information from? We're as blind as anybody else in this on how much electricity it's going to use, how much water. I don't know of anybody that has seen a design of this facility, but my question is, I know nothing of them. Does anyone in this auditorium know of a comparable data center in this area? Would you, please? Okay, listen, that's all I needed to ask. I'm not into a dispute or such as here. I was just wondering to compare it. I have, in the state of Missouri. Next one.
Sir.
What she said was, I'm trying to answer you so there's not confusion. The last meeting, the developer promised that he would give us more information. He owns one of these already and has one running in Omaha, Nebraska. So he's the person that you'd want to Trent over you would be able to address that question for you. He's already got one. So would you like for him to come up and address your question, Randy?
Okay, and I don't doubt your word, but whoever she was talking about, is this true information?
Again, as I told you all along, I'm a very open book, and I'm happy to sit down and work through details. So if you need, I've been extremely busy. I've not sat down with her yet, so I will.
We need a meeting like this. I want you to read the questions I have. I want to see P's and IDs. I want to see engineering reports about the cooling system.
I'm happy to give them to you. I disagree with that.
I still get my time. All you need to answer. You commit today. All of you.
Yes.
All of you commit today.
Yes.
To commit or not, you asked us a question instead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. That's going to take some time. I want to know, and all the people in here want to know, why there's already clearing out there on that land when nothing's been approved. Did you all Ipa, Randy Owens, and Dale Fraker, did you approve that land could be cleared out there before you knew nothing about this?
I swear on the Bible on my life, man.
Who approved the clearing of that land out there? Commissioners, who approved the clearing of the land that's already being done there if you had no knowledge of any of it happening, and we're still learning today.
Yes. They did not have to have, what happens on private property does not have to have approval of the commission. Listen. Whether it's data centers, chicken houses, junkyards, whatever, they don't, we cannot approve or disapprove of anything. We do not have that power. We do not have that power without planning and zoning. We do not have that. That's honest truth, man.
Well, I think my last question, I understand your answer. That still disturbs us that this is being started when it should not be, it's not being approved by these people here. And you represent us. Now, I guess my last question is, and what I want an answer for, is we are in a learning, we're gonna run out of time here today. We're in a learning situation where we need to hear from everyone, and it's not near gonna be completed. And I wanna request from the commissioners a second meeting, or even a third, or a fourth, or whatever it takes to get every bit of information that we need as citizens. And I want to request that today, and if you commissioners will agree to that today.
Yes, fair enough. We're like I said, we're here to serve you, so
Good morning. My name is Emily Hensley. I live on the north side of Marshfield. I kind of have a two-part question. The first is kind of the process. The legal process of how to put into either law or statute that this is kind of restricted. Because I did look at the Camden County statutes. I understand we're different from them because we're a different zone. But I appreciate that they have protections on the water use, on the soil, and on the air pollution, basically. So I also like to urge the commission to use all the legal means that they have at their disposal to delay this until we can get all our ducks in a row. Because it seems like this kind of facility is coming in. We don't have laws that restrict our unincorporated land. And it seems like they're taking advantage of that to kind of run ahead with this project. So that's why I really would. I urge you to, approve the moratorium and other legal means that would delay this until we have more information. And I would also like more information on how to basically, even if we don't have a zoning commission, how to restrict and protect our land.
repeat a little bit. I'm sorry that the speaker, I can't hear.
What is the process on how to protect our land from these facilities?
The process to protect our land from these facilities is for the voters of Webster County to vote in planning and zoning.
Are there any other means besides a zoning and planning commission? Are there any other means beside a zoning and planning commission?
That is part of the reason, well, really the main reason why we've hired these outside attorneys, is to get a definite answer of what we can and cannot do, what powers and oversight that we have and don't have.
Well, thank you for being here today and thank you for hearing us. I definitely urge you to grant the moratorium and to get more information on these facilities.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Geraldine Thomas, and I live on Vista Drive, just 2 miles from the data center. I live there with my husband, my 3 children, and we make use of our well water. I make my living off of the natural resources of Webster County. I am a plant nursery owner, and I raise livestock. I read that the developers' specifications on the data center that was printed on the Marshfield Mail May 6th. And although these sound like nice assurances, they are just the developer's words. It's not an independent study, it's not a DNR permit review, and these are not verified numbers. I appreciate the developer and Webster Electric coming up here and giving us information, but we would like legal documentation and independent studies on their claims. Camden County passed a specific data center operations ordinance on April 24th with strict rules on noise, water, generators, and setbacks without the full zoning. So the size of our county should not matter as far as standalone ordinance to protect our natural resources. So we also have already a legal tool under RSMO 192-300 to protect public health from noise, air quality, and water impacts. So today I respectfully ask the Commission to take 3 clear steps. First, to pass an immediate 6 to 12 month moratorium on data centers and large-scale industrial projects. 2, to direct staff to adopt a standalone data center ordinance modeled after the Camden counties. And 3, to require the developer and Webster Electric Cooperative to provide independent written studies on water use, generator emissions, actual noise, modeling, for me 2 miles, but please more, and the rate impacts to customers. Also, if you could please make them file DNR stormwater and wastewater permits applications publicly so that the county residents like us can submit official comments. Please act today to protect the rural neighborhoods and families that live here. Thank you. And I guess if I can have a question, my question would be, would you guys make use of the public health ordinance 192-300 in order to protect public health? Thank you.
So section 192-300 is something that the outside attorney is looking at, and they're looking at the ordinance from Camden County. And so I guess the commission would put out a formal statement on whether or not we have the legal authority to follow that or not. After they've had a chance to review the legal review that actually just came in this weekend, but we haven't had time today to look at it.
Good morning. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you, Mr. Fraker, for remaining calm and addressing the questions. My name is Jim Coyle. From my great-grandparents to my grandchildren have lived in Webster County. I spent 18 years at USA Today. I currently work for the Department of Elections in Virginia for the last 7 years. I have 2.5 decades of working in data centers, remodeling data centers, moving data centers. Prior to that, I was a nuclear mechanic on submarines. I have more than casual knowledge of thermodynamics, heat transfer, and fluid flow. My concern is with a closed loop system, there's very little water usage. I agree with that. Where does the heat go? You take all of that heat from 10 megawatts, you have a 10 megawatt water heater, and you are pushing 10 megawatts of heat into the ground continuously. What does all of that heat do to the flora, the bacteria, everything that's living in our water system that we all depend on?
Let's make a comment real quick, Jimmy. I appreciate your comments. And you and we went to school together, we know each other, so I know things that you tell me or tell us, I know it's your expertise. I would like really for you to visit with us and teach us to inform us some of this information. Not necessarily, I mean, I know we're all here about the one on Rifle Range Road, but what could possibly be coming here in the future that none of us know about. And that's good information to have, and I do appreciate that very much.
And I helped build the USS Nebraska, and a $2 billion submarine nuclear power plant has leaks. Closed loop systems, over time, you will have leaks. We do need monitoring.
Thank you, Jim.
Trent said air handlers, so that the heat will be dissipated through air handlers. Dry coolers, that's noise, that's vibrations. I've seen data centers where they vibrated the foundation so much, worms would not come within 20 feet of it. It killed all of the grass around the data center from all of the vibration. It was a poorly built data center, but vibration and heat, you have to get rid of both. If you are getting rid of heat, you are moving energy. In order to move energy, you're creating vibrations. Heat has to go somewhere. It's either going into the ground or going into the air. So it's going into the air. Okay? Fans create noise. A lot of noise. A commercial HVAC unit isn't removing 10 megawatts of power. 10 megawatts of heat. And startups don't start at 100%. They ramp up. This is just the beginning.
Guys, hang on to the list, man. We're going to get close on time with the school. We want to give everybody an opportunity.
Thank
Jimmy, thank you. These guys will be available to answer questions.
Good morning. My name is Aiden Hughes, and I am 19 years old and from the Dade and Polk County line. You may be wondering why someone that far away is present here today. The answer to that is because that's how far the consequences of this project can impact. This is why I'm asking for a moratorium. I understand the Commission has no jurisdiction because of the lack of zoning laws. However, you have the duty to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of all your citizens. Private property rights do not grant the developer the right to create a public nuisance or deplete the community's water supply, which is a large public health concern. Since everyone was caught off guard by the development of this data center, the passage of an emergency moratorium on all data center construction for 12 months is reasonable. I've heard your call about the public and health safety ordinance modeled after the one passed in Camden County that prohibits data centers from drawing cooling water from our shared aquifer. If this is truly a closed-loop system that will only consume 100 gallons a month, there should be no problem in forcing them to collect their own water via rainwater collection. The developer stated that there will be no chemical discharge. While this is true for daily operations, closed-loop systems must be flushed out periodically to prevent the buildup of sediment in the pipes. This water often contains toxic chemicals like biocides and PFAS. While the developer also stated that water use is around 100 gallons a month, he never stated the capacity of water the data center will hold. This could be between 1,000 gallons to tens of thousands of gallons of water that must be pumped out of the aquifer to fill up the closed-loop system and must be repeated during each flush-out, which can put a significant strain over time on the aquifer. If the moratorium is passed, but no ordinance is adopted before another shovel hits the dirt, I am requesting the developer to conduct a third-party aquifer impact study paid for by the developer to prove they will not dry up our wells, and for the developer to post a performance bond to compensate homeowners if their wells fail. While the data center is small for now, there is nothing stopping them from expanding into a hyperscale data center, which is why we must use this opportunity to protect our shared water. I do have some questions for the Commission. If local farmers and residents' well go dry, what is the county's plan to produce them with drinkable water? And has Webster County consulted with other connected counties connected to the Springfield Plateau Aquifer about the risk of farmers and residents losing water?
One of the things that has us at a disadvantage is where we're sitting, we hear about every third word. And so, I'm sorry. So we understand that he asked a question, but I don't think we understood what the question was. And it's just because of the acoustics in this room. So if one person could tell what the question was, we'll try to give an answer. He's asking that the gentleman send what his written statement.
I do have a question for the electric co-op also. Closed loop systems consume 10 to 40% more electricity. During times of strain on the grid, like during a heat wave, who has more priority over the electric, the residents or the data center?
So technically, we don't have the control of the grid. That comes from Associated Electric, who's the power generator. And the way that works is they look across the whole system. So there's 50 co-ops that are part of Associated, 40 of which are in Missouri distribution co-ops. So for one, we haven't got to that point yet. We real came close in Winter Storm Uri back in 2021. But if you remember when CU and everyone else had brownouts around us, we did not. The members worked real together well to reduce their usage, I'm sure. And I'm not saying that'll never happen again, but we're taking steps to ensure that doesn't happen. But as far as who would be to answer your question directly, Associated Electric controls the grid. They're the ones in control of generation. So it wouldn't be a person by person basis. They'd look across the different utilities and they'd do it by a substation basis, regardless of what load is on that substation.
I do have one more final question. The developer claims that there will be no emissions, but to cool down the center, heat must be transferred into the air. According to other data center research, this can raise the surrounding temperature of the area significantly. It can pose serious risks to livestock and crops. How will the county help the farmers within this area that might suffer from livestock or crop loss from overheating?
That's something we'll need to find out. They'll ask. But like I said, I'm having a hard time hearing you. But please give us that.
I want to thank you for allowing us to speak today. As you move forward to make your decision, I implore you to remember that your decision will not just impact the future of Webster County, but decide the future of all others like mine that share the Springfield Plateau aquifer.
My name is Natalie Bruce. I'm a mom, a resident here in Webster County in Marshfield. My family and I live 2 miles from the site. I know many families here live a lot closer than that. As a mom of 4 young kids, I only have one concern, and that is the long-term health of my children. I'm concerned because there really is no longitudinal data on what these data centers are doing to the health of children. They just haven't been around long enough. There haven't been enough studies. RFK Jr. is starting to speak out and talk about some of those studies and saying that they are dangerous to our children. Unfortunately, when I talk to other young mothers in our area, their response is fear. I would like to say that we could make non-emotional, non-fear-based decisions, but because we don't have facts, because there's not enough research, as moms of young kids, we are making emotional, fear-based decisions. And so I hear young families in our area saying, if this comes, we will leave to protect our children. That makes me very concerned for our town that I love. If families leave, it will kill our small businesses, it's going to drain our schools, and it's going to empty our churches. And so I am strongly asking that this not come to our town for the future of our town and for the safety of our children. I do have one question, and I don't know who knows the answer. If this was to proceed and go forward as planned, what is the projected completion date or open date?
The completion date for the data center?
Yes.
I do not know. Hang on.
He said 2 months and it'll ramp up over the next year.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
2 months and that it would ramp up over the next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, My name is Mo. I live here in the county, and I hate assumptions, and I don't know any of you guys. I know very few of you guys, so I want to clear up some assumptions, and I get it right from the source. So I hear you guys are elected officials for the county, is that right?
Yes.
Everybody's sitting up here. So I figure I'll just start like this. Are you guys, by show of hands, for this data center? Well, let them speak, let them speak. Are you for it?
Are we for?
The data center, the construction of this data center.
Well, what? Let me. I got it. Listen. The way that we handle government, and I'm talking about myself, what my personal opinions are about data centers and planning and zoning and any of those things makes no difference. Would you please hang on? Would you please hang on? Our job as elected officials is to enforce the laws that the county and the legislature put before us. We do not make the laws. Our job, ma'am, please. Our job is not to influence one way or the other. What our personal beliefs are when we make a decision for our county and our community, that is not a factor. We do what the law tells us to do, whether we agree with it or not. Am I clear? Do what? My personal beliefs for myself, what I did campaign on, I do act on. But as far as rules, regulations, and the laws of this county, I do not. I'm going to mention this one other thing. I have a farm, a family farm that's east of Marshfield. It's 400 acres. You can take that for what it's worth, whether I'm for or against planning and zoning. You can make your own decision.
All right, thank you. I understand holding neutral there and saying the professional way of saying things. I get it. Is there anybody against it, by show of hands, up on this stage here? The data center. Is anybody opposing it?
Personally opposed?
Personally opposed or professionally opposed, if we want to oppose in any way. Because that seems to be the question that we want to know. All the other information, we can dig into those things, but
that's how it works. And I'm going to say this again.
Coward!
please, guys, please let me ask these questions. Come on up and speak if you must, but I want to know from these people.
How this works, our personal opinion when making decisions about our county, such as data centers, junkyards, feedlots, whatever. What our personal opinion is does not matter. We are citizens like the rest of us. When it comes to voting and that kind of thing, we vote just like everybody else does. And then we do what we are told, what the public votes on, what the legislature makes us do.
Okay.
I hope that answered your question.
That does answer that question. But for the people here, are you guys for this data center? Is anybody against it? So if we're trying to serve the people don't want it, the rest of it kind of doesn't matter. And this is not an attack on you guys, I'm not coming for you. I just want to make sure we know where the people are standing and where our elected officials are standing. Because if our elected officials are not here commissioning for the people, who are you commissioning for?
We are taking into advisement what we can and cannot do. If we step out of bounds of the law with regulation, ordinances, or whatever, we're taking every bit of this into consideration. Guys, this is a very fluid thing. that we, like Randy said, like the other said, we learned about this when you all did. We're trying to be, we are doing our due diligence to make sure to get all the information correct. Decisions, whatever are made, will be done by definition of statutes that we have to follow by our legal counsel. If we step out of line, like some, and I'm not going to give, for instance, we all know, we hear things in horror stories, but what we do, if we do not follow the rules that we're required to follow, companies, businesses, whatever, right now they could actually file suit against the county. The county will lose, and the county will be broke. We are protecting that. We are protecting that.
And I agree, we gotta do things by the rules, because if we don't do anything by the rules, then there are no rules. I understand it, I appreciate that. So I just wanna drive that concern that it's apparent we don't want it, and we are looking to you for help, because we don't want this here. Thank you.
Break in real quick. Just a practical matter. We're down to about 15 minutes, and we are not practiced at this type of thing. We've not had this type of situation arise before. So we're learning how these meetings ought to be structured. But the back and forth isn't really working. It's just taking too much time.
Yes.
So in the time that remains, we just need to let people make their statements and move on.
Yeah, we want to give everybody an opportunity to speak before we have to leave the school. So just make your statements, and like I said, we're taking all of this into consideration, every ounce of it, just like you are.
How many people want the moratorium?
All right. My name is Christine Vandegree. Our family farm has been in Niangua for 60 years, and my land is there as well. At the town hall meeting last week, Mr. Overhue told us that one of the benefits to us of this project would be, quote, all of the improvements that would be made to the electrical infrastructure, end quote. My question is, if the substation can already handle the electrical requirements of the proposed project, or they wouldn't be building it, obviously that would seem to imply that if there are further improvements to the substation to be made by Lumen Solutions, that a much larger one is being contemplated and planned for. Now, I don't want it. I don't care if it's little, big. I don't want it full stop. But obviously, that statement seems to leave open the possibility in the plan that that's where they're going with this. I also have a question for Mr. Houston. After the town hall last week, I asked Mr. Overhue why he chose Webster County. Now, I expected him to say that it was because we don't have planning and zoning. Well, imagine my surprise when he said, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but it was Webster Electric who approached me. So I would ask Mr. Houston, isn't Webster Electric's policy to solicit projects like this? And if so, why were the members not consulted?
So to answer your question, that statement is unequivocally false.
That is what I said. You absolutely told me that, sir. That is exactly what you said. They approached me. That is what you said.
So,
Folks, let's let Ms. Houston answer.
So I'll answer your second question you asked about improvements to the subway infrastructure. There is a feeder having to be added. We put that in our Facebook statement. They're paying for that. But that just means a breaker at the substation, so they're on their own circuit, so they do not impact anybody else. So they're paying 100% of all that cost up front. And currently that does not happen. They're the first doing that. Her question was, ma'am, how's it the impact on the substation? I just answered the question. Ma'am, I just told you that was false. I did not approach that.
Is it Webster Electric's policy to solicit such projects, and if so, why were members not consulted?
Okay, so can you say the second word you said? Starts with an S? Solicit. I do not solicit anything. But just like if a member comes to us for anything, as I said, co-ops have to be open and volunteer membership. So whoever comes to us, some of you have asked for environmental permits, all that, I agree with you. If all the permitting and standards and all that have been met, Webster Electric don't have a choice. Now, if there's any impacts to the system, the person who makes that impact is responsible for paying it. That is the answer. So I have to answer that for everybody. We serve a lot of different businesses in this community. We get statements from Economic Development, State of Missouri all the time for a lot of different businesses. We don't even know what they are. But they ask if you have the water. They ask the city about water. They ask us about electricity. We answer them. We don't even know who that is.
Okay. That's great. Thank you very much.
I just want to say before I put this back up here, Mr. Overhughes absolutely told me that Webster Electric approached him. So I don't know what the problem is over here, but that is the answer he gave me. If he's telling you otherwise, he is not telling you the truth.
Hello, my name is Chris Billings. I'm from Webster County, and I yield my time to the original speaker.
Joe, I came here with respect. I prayed for the hour and 15 minutes that I had to drive to come here because no, I don't live in your county, but I was so darn concerned, and I am a Christian and I love Southern Missouri, and I am going to be up in everyone's business about water quality. I don't care what county it is. I do feel a little aggressive, and I want you guys to understand something. I'm going to kind of throw you fellas under the bus. So I had Ike Skelton, who I would vote for president, just saying. I had him call the commissioners because I thought they needed to hear about the legal counsel that they have sought, about how this could work for a third-class county. And I kind of feel embarrassed. I was embarrassed because I had Ike, who took the time, who's also running for state senate, to call you guys, and he said your attitude was like, who are you to come into our county? Who are you? That was the feeling. In fact, he felt so combative. And for those of you that were at the meeting, you guys saw Ike's energy. He is not combative. So if he felt that energy came from these men. He said at one point, he said, listen, if your constituency needs me to come into your county to address serious concerns, I will do it again. Please, listen. RSMO 192.300 is a state statute. And no matter if you have less billions of dollars in revenue and land value, that doesn't mean you can't. I called them and said, how can we work with your health department and get this done? He was willing to run it through their legal counsel at their first class, super fancy, their legal counsel. He would have done all that for free if you guys would have been with him and said, we want to work with you. If you would have seen that there was a need. If you would see that he is standing up, and you know what? He's had his constituency come and cry and say, please don't run for state senate. We need you, Ike. We need you because right now is the biggest grassroots movement of all of your lives. And this will be your legacy, whether you like it or not. This is
is how all of you will be remembered, whether you like it or not. And Ike did not come to you as an enemy. He called you as a fellow Trump supporter, as a Republican, as a presiding commissioner who's been spending years researching this stuff. The man that helped him write that ordinance looked right at Trent and said, I've never heard of a drop, a single drop of wastewater. You've created the system of all systems, Trent. You should be a billionaire now because no one else has done that, right? You guys were being duped. We're being duped. And I don't even think Trent knows as much about cooling systems as he needs to. And you guys certainly don't, but you know who actually knew a bunch? Was Ike. Talk to him. Don't be like, who are you to come into my county? That is the wrong attitude, because now you're gonna have to get a bunch of people riled up. You guys, it's time. You guys have an election. Interview every single presiding commissioner. You need to have commissioners that see this, which is historic, and they respond. That is
Thank you.
So my name is Stacy Shore. I was Stacy Nunn. I lived here my whole life. I graduated from Marshfield. My ancestors are buried all over this land. I have a lot of family that still lives here. I am from Camden County, and I was one of the authors of the ordinance. The other author is not here. He's an engineer, and when he heard what was being said the other night in the meeting, he just kept shaking his head because he does have a degree in engineering. When you are being told that they don't have options, that is not correct. There is a statute. For all of you out there, I see writing things down, write this down. It is the law in Missouri. It is 192.300. It is based on the health and welfare safety of this community. They have the authority to act that way. You guys have a bullseye on your back because they won't act. And when I say that, you need to hear this loudly. I don't know what they're doing. I don't have any idea. None of you do. Because all of this was based in secrecy. That's what happened in my county too. There is the ability. Josh Hawley, do you know who Josh Hawley is? Josh Hawley just did a congressional hearing where he questioned RFK about the health concerns of the electromagnetic frequencies that come from data centers, about the water. There are massive studies with EMFs. There are massive concerns all over the country. It is not conjecture nor hearsay. They have the ability to sign a moratorium and an ordinance to protect you. It's the health, welfare, and safety of the children who are going to grow up here like I did. I had a lot of Webster County roots in me, and when we came with that ordinance, we came with over 400 people too. Nobody wanted it because it was secret. We didn't know the details. There were no studies. Nobody shared anything with us, but they said they would have had they gotten it through. That's what you're dealing with right now, unfortunately. So I say, with all respect to you, it doesn't matter that you're a second-class county. If you don't do something, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all the big dogs are coming to anchor themselves right here because you guys are giving them a signal to say, sorry, nothing we can do without planning and zoning. Let me say this, one last thing. Planning and zoning, all they do is give a recommendation for the commission. That's all. It's a political cover machine. You don't need planning and zoning. You have to have the courage to stand on your feet and fight and demand that you be protected from the potential safety concerns that no one fully understands yet, and to get the bullseye off your back for the mega centers not to be able to come and plant themselves here, because right now by the commission just throwing their hands up and saying, oh, there's nothing we can do, they're coming on the heels of this one, and you guys better be ready for it. So I implore you to sign an ordinance to put a moratorium in place and protect the people of Webster County.
My name is Dusty Scott. I live just a few miles from the proposed data center. My question is, nobody's mentioned anything about water runoff. I know it's a self-contained system, but there's got to be some kind of a containment system for leaks, spills, on and on and on. DNR, there's no, we've all, dairy farmers, everybody in here has been around farming, knows DNR can absolutely come in. They can tell you what you can and can't do. We haven't seen anything from DNR about this, not in the slightest. So I want to know what's being done on that aspect of it. You're what, a mile and a half from a river? And there's nothing being said about that. That bothers me as much as the secrecy, the immediate, hey, it's going to be up in 2 months, then it's going to ramp up. When it ramps up, there's nothing stopping it from going farther and farther. Just because the substation is adequate for now, doesn't mean it can't grow. The well, the pump, doesn't mean you can't upsize that in 3 months. I mean, there's nothing saying that, hey, this is it. At some point, we have to do that.
Hi, my name is Teal Weems. I'm a homeowner in Fordland, and I'm a retired physician. And I came here not too long ago, and it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to, and I've been all around the world. Like everyone else, I'm concerned about the impact of this data center on our water, our land, our air, the sound, EMFs, the wildlife, the bald eagles, everything. And I really am urging you to consider a moratorium so that we can get more information about what all is involved and the potential impact of this center. So that's one thing I want to say. I'm all for the moratorium, and I do think an ordinance can be done outside of planning and zoning. Now, I have 2 specific questions for Trent. And so at the town hall meeting, you had mentioned that you have a background with another data center about 4 years ago in Omaha, Nebraska. And so I would like to know today what the name of that center is and what the outcome of that project was. Can you address that? Can you say why you won't say what your experience is? Okay. So you have no real track record that any of us can follow with regard to your experience with building a data center. Mm-hmm. I want you to share the name of the center that you're a part of. I don't understand why that's secret knowledge. NDAs. I understand what an NDA is. All right, well that's your answer. The second question I have for you is, specifically, how do you feel this data center will benefit this community specifically? Oh, please do. Yep.
30 seconds. So real quick, there's a few benefits to what this center would bring to Webster County. Primarily, one is going to be good jobs. We'll employ about 15, hold on, let me talk. We'll have about 15 full-time employees out there. They'll all be very well-paid positions. Guys, if you want to answer, I'm trying to answer, hold on. The other is sales tax. So tax on power, there'll be a significant benefit to the regional community on the tax created off the power generator. The last one, if Missouri changes from no personal income to a service base, there will also be a very substantial amount of revenue based on the service that we provide. So there is benefits that come in the substantial amount of tax, which will benefit the community as a whole and the Niagara school system, which
system when you're depleting shared resources that the school system is dependent on? You're not using any water?
All right, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. I know there's some others that have questions. What we're gonna do, it is noon. It is noon, and the school has activities going on here shortly. Just, if anybody has any questions. We do not know when the next meeting is. Folks, please listen. We are learning this information as you are. What we're going to do is to wrap this up. I'm going to let this young lady right here have her question, and this lady here right here, and then we're going to adjourn this meeting today. But like I said before, everyone is going to do the very best to release the information so that we all know. This is a learning process for all of us.
My name is Kathy Mall. I have been here since 1987. My family has been here since 1943 and before. The farm that we live on, we have bought since 1949. A lot of you guys up here knew my dad, Elmer Mall. I have a long history in here. My first Christmas in 1959 was spent in Webster County. It's my second home, and it is my permanent home now. You guys keep coming back and saying we're first counties, third counties. The only difference is the amount of money that you get off of people